sixth graders. It's wonderful to see you today. I am using the Truist Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia as my backdrop today because today is our Spirit Day focusing on sports, so Sports Day. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and I spent many wonderful moments attending and participating in Atlanta Braves baseball games at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium and at Turner Field, and now the Braves are playing at Truist Field in Atlanta. And also I'm sporting my Carolina Panthers cap because we want to give a shout out to that team as well. We see Bank of America Stadium from our school every day, so that's pretty cool. Also, and so I'm sporting my Atlanta Braves World Series t-shirt. The Atlanta Braves used to be called America's Team. That was kind of unusual, but there was a time there, about a decade, where they were in the World Series consistently, and they were called America's Team. Anyway, I'm also sporting my Lion King pin because if we were in school, today is the day we set aside for our Lion King Junior musical at CPCC at the Halton Theater. So a big shout out to the cast and crew of Lion King Junior, and we hope to enjoy that show with you in the future. We are on page 204 of Granted, and it appears the wish has gotten away again. They were in a pet store, barely made it out of the pet store safely. And that's where we are right now. And Sam is kind of replying to Ophelia. He is disappointed that he feels kind of like he let her down because they were so close to the wish. Middle of page 204, Granted. I am sorry your wish got away, Sam replied. Ophelia stared at the sun, already calling it quits for the day and slinking toward the edge of the world. Soon the sky would ripen, blushing pink and purple. Then it would be evening. That might make the wish easier to track, at least. Humans often shut down in the evening, scurried home, holed away like hermit crabs. Maybe the man in the striped shirt was headed home now. Once it was dark out, it would be easier for her to sneak around. Even Sam could probably be stealthy in the pitch black of night. Except she wouldn't wait too long. Squint had given her enough protection to last only until the end of the day. She wondered just how many talks she had left. Should have been enough to grant one stupid wish. Should have been on my way home by now. Should have just sprayed the old man when I had the chance. So many should haves. What happens to them? Ophelia shook her head, her thoughts interrupted by the sound of Sam's voice. The wishes? The dogs. How long are they in those cages? They don't live there, do they? Ophelia wasn't sure. The answer to Sam's question was probably down in the archive somewhere. Most things were, but it wasn't something she'd studied in depth. The dogs were for sale. She'd seen prices by the cages, sort of strange to know how much a living thing was worth, down to the nickel. Somebody comes and buys them and takes them home, she said. A master? Ophelia caught the weariness in Sam's voice. A master, yes, but someone nice. A whole family probably, with kids to play fetch and chase, and a big backyard, plenty of places to bury a bone. For herself, she couldn't quite imagine wanting to eat a dug-up dirty bone, but the family part sounded nice. Oh, Sam said, impressed. Home. Home, Ophelia repeated. She pictured the haven. The frothy waterfalls, the emerald crowns of trees, pools of light peeking through their branches, Charlie waiting for her outside her cottage, sitting on her porch, whistling to himself. She probably would have been back by now if everything had gone according to plan. Sitting beside him, splitting that bottle of wine and watching the sunset with satisfaction rather than worry. Where is your home? Sam asked. Ophelia started to say something, then stopped. That was confidential information. Of course, this was only Sam, and Sam was harmless. She reached for a cherry blossom petal that had been knocked loose. It was just starting to curl, but it still felt like velvet against her fingertips. It's called the Haven, and it's very far away. Too far for a fairy who can't even fly, she thought, her heart aching as much as her back. Where I live is called the Treetops, high up in the mountains. We have a whole city up there with everything you can imagine. Clothes menders and cheesemakers and coffee shops and lots of nuts. Donuts? Sam asked hopefully. Sophia shook her head. No, not usually. Sometimes, though, we get those from the scavengers who come to collect human things for us to study and learn from. We have to know as much as we can about them so that we are prepared when we come out here to grant wishes. Prepared. She thought she had been, but now she realized there was still so much about humans she didn't understand. They were all strangers, pictures in a book, names on a leaf, voices in her head that she was tired of listening to. To be honest, I'm not even sure they're worth it, she muttered, as much as to herself as to Sam. Humans are bad, he agreed. Aphia stopped fidgeting with her petal and looked over at Sam. Of course he would think so, and she couldn't blame him, not after how he'd been treated. She leaned back into him, nestling in his fur. Maybe they're not all bad, she amended. They just lose sight of what's important sometimes, worrying too much about what they don't have, that they forget what they've already got. Like home, Sam said. Aphia grew quiet, feeling Sam's heartbeat pounding beneath her. She had absolutely no idea how she was going to get back to the Haven. It seemed an impossible distance now. She knew Squint would send somebody after her eventually, but by then there was no telling what shape she'd be in. She pictured her name scratched into the walls of Ephemeræ, Ophelia Delphinium Fidgets, went out into the world and never returned. Total wishes granted? 0. Just yesterday, she'd imagined herself granting hundreds of them. Now she just wanted to be alone. More than anything, she just wanted to feel safe again, back in the Haven. She closed her eyes again and picked up Kasara's voice, a barely traceable whisper. They'd rested for only a few ticks, and Sam was still panting. She couldn't ask any more of him. Aphia stood up and placed a hand gently on his muzzle. I've got to keep going, Sam. I've got to try to find the wish, even if it kills me. But you don't have to. I know you're tired. I honestly don't even know why you've come this far. The dog licked his front paws a few times each. His tail gave one half-hearted thump. Then slowly he stood up, shaking out his fur. Because you are my friend, he said. And empty holes are the worst. He lowered his front half so she could climb onto his back. Let's find your wish so that you can go home. Sam is a wonderful dog and friend, isn't he? We'll stop there and we'll begin on page 209, chapter 33 tomorrow. Thank you so much, 6th graders. Take care of yourselves, okay? Bye now.